Hey, Will, can you tell us about your versatility, why you're able to play both safety spots and nickel corner?
I think that's just a part of how I've been, since I was a kid here in Philadelphia, playing at Germantown High School, and obviously going to Arizona, and then them guys moving me around throughout my college career, and then getting to the NFL my first 4 years with Denver, them being able to just put me in different positions and help me understand the playbook more. I think just when you know what everybody else is doing, it makes your job easier. So being able to be versatile and move different places and do things at a high level, that's something that I take a lot of pride in.
Will, was that one of the things that attracted you to Philadelphia? Was that possibility of that kind of position flexibility?
Yeah, that was a big reason why. The way that Jim uses a lot of his guys back there, man, they're all interchangeable. So when you have a coach or a DC that knows your strong suits or doesn't want to limit you, and he wants to just let you sprawl and be you, I think that was one of the biggest things that brought me here, and obviously just the city and my family and things of that sort. But it was just a perfect situation, perfect opportunity to just start my own legacy and be able to play football and help this team in games.
Will, were you?
Hey, Will, it was reported you had some other offers
only ended up being
well.
a one-year deal.
I couldn't hear it. You said what?
I'm sorry. Were you disappointed at all that this ended up being only a one-year deal? Were you looking for something more extensive than that?
I mean, to be honest, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, this is a chance for me to prove myself to the whole league, over again. You know what I mean? Like, depending if it's a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year deal, every year is a 1 year deal. And if you look at it that way, I think you'll go to work, you'll go harder every day, you won't get complacent, you won't get sidetracked, you'll just keep the main thing. That's just focus on winning games. That's all I'm worried about right now.
Well, you had interest from some other teams as well. Was your decision based on coming home, or was it scheme, combination of both? What drew you in this direction?
Everything you said. It was the possibility of coming home, the scheme that they use, the way they use the players, the camaraderie, the franchise history, the fans, the way the Eagles fans love their Eagles, bad or good. I'm not worried about any of that. Just the pride and the love for the city, man. It was all for it. So not that anything was bad with any of the other teams, man, but this was just a perfect situation.
Will, a tough time right now with everybody kind of quarantining with the virus. How difficult and what kind of challenges are you facing to try to stay in shape and to, stay fit?
I don't know if you guys know, but I pride myself on working the hardest. Like, if I'm in the room with anybody, it doesn't matter who in there, I'm a hard worker. So the fact that all these gyms and stuff and parts of stuff are closed is kind of driving me nuts right now. But I think just being cautious, you know what I mean? It's a terrible time in the world right now. We all have to be extra careful. People are dying out there because of this. So, it's a serious condition, and just got to take measures by any means. But, just like I said, having the ability to adapt, I think, is the biggest thing that we all can do right now, and be able to adapt. So whether that's training different, if that's in the house, or being somewhere where there's absolutely no one around, and just, you got to do things differently, man. But it's definitely something that we all wish that, it could possibly end here pretty quickly and pretty soon.
So can I have a follow-up to that? How are you adapting then? Are you have weights at home and exercise equipment, or how are you adapting?
So I got a couple of weights at the crib, but I try to hit like the playgrounds and stuff like that. No one's outside, so I try to use the monkey bars or the different things. I was out there training at the Veteran Memorial Park, and I just used a couple of their objects outside to just get my body going, and then went right back in the car, went right back home. Man, it sucks. It definitely sucks not being able to do the things that you normally do. But I think I'm doing a good job as far as adapting.
Hey, Will, you played a bunch of different spots in Denver, obviously. Where do you feel most comfortable? Where do you like moving around? What do you see yourself as a player?
I don't like being a sitting duck, you know what I mean? So I definitely like to move around and, give the defense different looks and, and just to, whether it's coming off the edge or playing deep or playing in the slot or playing on the tight end or outside at the corner. So wherever I'm needed at is definitely where I'm able to play at. But being able to be versatile is definitely good.
Hey, Will, for kids in North Philly or for kids on the West Aiken Braves, what do you think the significance of seeing you in an Eagles uniform will be?
I think it hits different. I think from a distance, the last 4 years I was giving back to the community and being so active as much as I can. But having the opportunity of being home and being super close to these kids, I think it definitely sparked a little bit of more of a light. They're not. You don't have to become a statistic, or you don't have to become a surface of the environment. You can, see things bigger than what they are and make it out. You don't have to be a football player to do so. You could be a doctor or a lawyer, or even like you guys as yourself. You could be a media guy, just being able to get information. You guys are pros. I'm a pro. Everybody, that does whatever they love to do is a pro. So that's my main thing, is just to get them to understand that you put it whatever it is.
Hey, Will, to that point, Will, to that point, was there ever an Eagle that you looked up to growing up that has kind of inspired you, your game and just to get to this point?
Of course. I think we all know it's Brian Dawkins. First and foremost, Brian Dawkins is one of my favorite safeties ever. But I can name, so many people that have been on the Eagles that I've watched that I can tell you about. But Brian Dawkins has definitely been one of the, my favorite people in the world. And actually, when we came to play the Eagles in 2017, and I walked on the field for pregame warm-ups, he was the first person I met. The first person I met over there, and then he hit me up when I when I finally decided I was coming here. So it's exciting to be able to probably see him one of these days.
Hey, Will, what was that conversation like with him when he hit you up?
Just the normal, hitting me up, whatever you need. But, when this thing goes over, we definitely going to have some conversation and stuff like that. So I'm excited to be able to pick his brain and learn from him as any ways I can.
Hey, Will, if the spring workouts and OTAs are kind of pushed back and everything, how do you think that'll affect your adjusting to the new system and everything? Will that kind of set you back a little bit, or do you think it won't make that much of a difference?
No, I don't believe it makes too much of a difference because football is important to me. So the fact that it's important to me, first and foremost, I think I'll find ways to get, different things done as far as, calling coaches, asking for different terminology if this thing persists to keep going. And just like I said, man, it's important to me, so I don't think it'd be too much of a challenge.
Will, I read somewhere that actually growing up you were a Cowboys fan.
My dad was.
Oh, your dad was. Okay. Not you.
Yeah, my dad. My dad is. So I grew up in the Cowboys house and I grew up in the Eagles house. My mom is a diehard Eagles fan, so I don't know how he became one, but it is what it is. But he's a Will Price fan. He's going to have to be a Philadelphia fan now since I'm on the Eagles. So.
Will that be hard for him to not root for the Cowboys when they play the Eagles?
Not at all. Not at all. His son plays. He has no choice.
Will, have you given any thought to what number you're going to wear in Philly?
What number?
Yeah.
No, I don't really know. Obviously, Trayvon, little Strappo, he got 34. So, I'm not too focused on having a number. You know what I mean? I'm going to my fifth year. Obviously, I had 34 for the last 4 years, but I'm just happy to go to work with my boys, man. We already had conversations and text messages of how we can't wait to come together and create a bond and do different things to ensure that we put ourselves in the best possible position here come first game of the season.
Will, you aren't the only new Eagle in the secondary this offseason. The Eagles traded for Darius Slay. Do you know much about Slay, and how do you think you'll fit in with him?
I know a lot about Slay. Me and Slay been in communication with each other for the last year and a half, I want to say. And me and Slay talked as soon as I made the choice to come over here, and because he know Chris Harris and all those other guys, and I know them, so they were telling me a little bit about Darius Slay even before I got here. So, having a guy like that back there in the backfield with you is definitely awesome, man. I'm pretty sure all the guys I love Slay, man. I love Slay even with the few conversations that we had, man. I can't wait to get to work with him.
If I could follow up, what was the genesis of you guys you mentioned something about community. I don't know what spurred you guys talking.
You said which part that's talking?
Yeah, and and what were the conversations about?
I think it was Twitter. Twitter was like the first time I followed him. He followed me back, and then he spoke to Chris on the phone a few times, and I just happened to be there. I'm credited a few times, so that's how that kind of started, and it just lingered on over to now. We on the same team, so it's pretty exciting.
Have you spoken since you signed with the Eagles?
You said what?
Have you spoken to Slay this week?
Nah, probably, I spoke to him the day I signed, like Sunday or Monday. Or the day
what was the conversation?
Monday,
Did you talk much, or was it just?
Yeah, the same thing I said. We just can't wait to get to work. He's excited to come here. I can tell you first and foremost, he's super excited to come here. So, I can't wait to see the smile on his face when he's in the building and stuff like that. But it was just, a simple, normal conversation, man.
Let's take a few more for Will.
Yeah, Will, if whoever moves into that safety spot that Malcolm Jenkins vacated is going to have some pretty big shoes to fill. How do you feel about that?
First and foremost, me and Malcolm, we had the same trainer here. We have off the field conversations, stuff like that. So the legacy that he left here in Philadelphia is slim to none. First and foremost with that one, but obviously, man, it don't matter what position it is. That position is like this. It's all over the football field now. So I'm just focused on just coming in and taking advantage of the opportunities as far as putting on that uniform and ensuring that we get these wins, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we could talk about this and talk about that, but I haven't played yet. I haven't here yet, so I got to prove myself in order to put myself in that position to talk about that.
Who's the trainer you share with Malcolm?
You said what?
Who's the trainer that you share with Malcolm?
Brandon Bain, ex-Giant or whatever. He got a Super Bowl in 2011, so that's been my trainer for the last 3 years. I also go to Texas, where City Jones is. City Jones coming back a dog because he's out there with Ronnie Braxton. So I just can't, you know what I'm saying? It feels good, man. I'm not just feels very good.
Will, where are you doing your training? Are you in Philadelphia? I mean, you're not flying around, I assume. So are you kind of hunkered in someplace?
Yeah, I've been in Philadelphia since January 8th. I left for a month, came back March 9th. So I've been here and I've been to stay here.